Sing along.
I've been hating you too long to stop now.
You're retiring, and you want to be free.
My hate was growing stronger
As you became a habit to me. Don't make me stop now. I hate you.
Call me crazy, but I've never really understood the whole because Kobe Bryant monikered his game after Michael Jordan, he can't be looked at as the number 2 greatest player of all time. Okay, if you want to say Kobe can't be over Mike, he didn't win as much as Mike, he wasn't the number 1 like Mike was for his longer time, I'll give you that. So Kobe can't be number 1. But why can't Kobe be looked at as the number 2 greatest player of all time? If I go copy perfection and I pretty much master perfection, I then can't be looked at as right underneath perfection because I chased the greatest? That never made sense to me. And by the way, outside of the fadeaway jump shot, Kobe's dribble didn't look like Mike's. Kobe's dunk and layup packages didn't look like Mike's. What people really believe Kobe copied from Michael Jordan is the mentality. And I don't understand how you can blame a guy because his mindset was that of the greatest of all time.
How many players in NBA history can you say
This one.
had a foundation, a damn good foundation, that fell apart and they had to rebuild it from scratch? That's what Kobe did. When Shaq left in 2005 and went and won another ring with D-Wade in 2006, Kobe was in the midst of trial and tribulation. He could have dipped. The organization got Pau Gasol, who averaged 18 and 11. Kobe Bryant delivered 3 consecutive NBA Finals appearances, winning 2 of them. Kobe had a 14-year prime in which he averaged 27, 5, and 5 on 45% from the field, 33% from 3, and 84% from the free throw line. The disrespect for Kobe Bean stops now.
Yep.
Basketball on the court, complicated shots, shooting over taller opponents, footwork with extraordinary grace, the elan vital of the athletic balladry that he put on that court. I think there has been nobody better than Kobe Bryant. I think with the kind of will to win and playing through injury. Here's Michael Jordan. He's sick in one game, has a temperature. Scottie Pippen has to take him off the court. Oh my God, look at him. This man played with a broken finger and won a championship, had to rotate the ball off of the broken finger. I'm not denying the genius of Michael Jordan. I'm saying Kobe Bean Bryant, in my estimation, was the greatest basketball player. Studied the game, was a student of the game, worked harder than anybody else, including Jordan, to do what he did. That's why I think he's the greatest of all time.
Peace. What's going on, y'all? Kofa, Growth Talk Podcast. Wake your glass up. What is going on? Again, I'm your host, Kofa, K-O-F-A, not coffee, not kufu, not Kofi, or any variation thereof. Kofa rhymes with sofa. Easy to say, easy to spell. Once again, this is Growth Talk Podcast, where we help men find a positive fuck it. Growth stands for gentlemen reaching our wealth through healing. But today, we're going to have a little fun. We're going to pivot. I promised this, I think, last month, where I was going to talk about why I believe Kobe is the GOAT. I'll argue it with anybody. It's no disrespect to Mike, no disrespect to Bron. But first, housekeeping. Let's get into some general housekeeping. As you come in, smash the like button. Likes are free. So go ahead and hit that like button for me. Take your shoes off when you come in the house. Hit like. Subscriptions are also free. If I have to earn your subscription, if this is your first time watching one of my broadcasts or the replay, hit the subscribe button. But if I got to earn it, like I said, that's fine. The work is going to continue, so I am going to earn it. So you might as well go ahead and hit subscribe. You see the Cash App, you see the PayPal on the screen up in the top. I think my left, your right corner, one of them. But you see it. If you want to donate to the channel, help the channel grow, cool. If you don't, cool. But hit the like and subscribe for me. On a push, I got my 1,000 subscribers. Now I'm pushing for 4,000 watch hours so I can get monetized. Thank you all for being in here. I'm going to slide over to the comments. Then we're going to get into the content, because this is a conversation I have been having for some years, arguing with. Shout out to Terry Folds. He says, I believe you, and I had a quick conversation about this. You and I are both on both the same age and agree that Kobe is our GOAT. Plain and simple. Broken Traditions in the building. What's going on, brother? Peace to the chat. Peace to the Growth family. Shout all of you out for rocking with me. Yes, sir. Hit the like button. Even though the GOAT is LeBron James, I'm going to dispel that today, brother. We're going to have that conversation today. I am going to drop a link in the chat in a little bit. I don't know what's been going on with my interview button, but when I drop it in there, for some reason it glitches. So if it glitches, it pauses. It seems like I'm buffering or something. Give me a second. I'll hop right back in. But I do want to get some of you guys' comments. Derek Gaines says, Broken Traditions, the GOAT is Kobe. Yes, yes, yes. Peace to Auntie Sean from the Shy. Appreciate you being in here, Auntie. I was going to go on later on tonight, y'all, like normal at 7:30, but kind of relaxed, kind of chilled, and just wanted to chill today and talk to y'all. Had this conversation a little bit early. Yep, that's one of the greatest commercials. How many MVP chants did that brother get? How many MVP chants? How many of these did he get on the road in somebody else's building just for cooking and doing his job? Kobe, 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 Kobe. Let me keep on going through the comments. Everybody going back and forth. Okay. Sean says that's what he got from MJ, the mental endurance. I respect that. And of course, like the brother said, if I copy perfection and get it down, how can you be mad at me and say, even I would argue, how can you say he's the second best if he copied perfection? Because guess what? Something else, let me get Auntie down real quick. Something else people forget. Mike copied people too. I don't know if y'all ever heard of a guy named Dr. J. Mike kind of patterned his game after him. Also, for those, lesser basketball savants, David Thompson. David Thompson could jump out the gym. I think he was 6'4", had a 46, 48-inch vertical. Mike I think he had a 44. So he patterned his game after Dr. J and David Thompson. So it would make sense that Kobe would follow behind Mike, coming in after him, and being the same height, roughly 6'6", 6'7", give or take a quarter of an inch or whatever. The moves work, but then he perfects the moves, and then he expands them out to, if not beyond, the three-point line, like the brother just got through saying. Kobe dribble didn't look like Mike. His handles weren't like Mike. He had better handles than Mike. Had a better jump shot a little bit earlier. And we got to remember, we talking about a kid, literally comes in at 18, doesn't play a lot. NBA was different back then. I'll talk about that in a little bit. But 18, 19, he's not going to roughly play a lot. He's not only a rookie, he's a kid. But they trusted him with the ball against Utah when it counted. He shot his air balls. He figured out what was wrong. He went back, got his leg strength together. And the rest, as we say, is history. Kobe was great at figuring out his weaknesses, which a lot of great players don't want to do. They lean on their strengths and their strengths alone. Kobe worked on his game. That's what separated him. That's why he's the GOAT. He wasn't afraid to admit defeat because he was going to come back and get his. Let me slide back over to the comments. Let's see. Jason says, there goes Michael Eric Dyson. That man good with them words. The elan vital, a.k.a. poetry in motion when Kobe had that ball. He said, Michael Eric Dyson, I'm going to throw some big-ass words at you. Where y'all think Tip got it from? Says Kobe got better when Shaq left. He put the team on his back, just like he did when Shaq was there. I'm going to talk about that. That's one of the reasons why I have Kobe as the GOAT. So this is my stance. Kobe he played in two eras, first of all. Let's get that straight. Anybody who's watched NBA basketball, you know the game has changed. Kobe played in two eras. He got drafted in 96. Still, my opinion, maybe it's because what I grew up on, but my opinion, the greatest draft class ever. Him, AI, Camby, Duncan, we can go on and on and on. Kobe is that dude. And everybody in his draft class, he beat. So he came in at a time where you could punch somebody in the face and you might get a 1-game suspension, right? Something like that. So he came in the league when you could bang. He also came in the league, if you had a dominant big man, that's who the ball went through. So when he got drafted, he already came in having to adjust and figure out the game from a different angle because he played with the most dominant big man in NBA history in Shaq. Nobody's going to argue that. You can argue about skill and all that, but the most dominant big man in NBA history was Shaq, and Kobe played with him. So even as a number two, Kobe had to adjust and learn how to play with this guy and still gave the league number one option numbers night in, night out. Who's going to argue with that? Because you had the whole hack of Shaq, right? They weren't going to give the ball to Shaq. It was going to Kobe and clear the fuck out the way and let him work his magic, which he did night in, night out. How are you that young and understand that much of the damn game and still be able to get yours night in, night out for 20 years? Barring injury, like Michael Eric Dyson just said, broken finger, he's still out there putting in work, having to adjust. Y'all remember Glove Kobe? Wasn't the first time he broke something and played through it and still worked the shit out of whoever was guarding him and whatever team. How many times do we have to see this to give that man his crown? I know we love Mike. He's a cultural icon. We love the shoes. I'm not talking about no damn shoes. I'm not talking about swag. I'm talking about the eye test. I'm talking about the love of the game. So if I'm smart enough to know that, hey, this guy that came before me, his moves worked at my height. I have the same athletic build. I have the same athleticism. Why wouldn't I take those moves, perfect them, and then add what's mine? Again, Mike didn't have that range that Kobe had. Maybe it's because the game was different. Kobe saw the game changing. He adjusted. He was able to do it out by the three-point line again, if not beyond. We're going to get into the numbers and all that in a minute. I'm going to play this video. We're going to react to it because this was a great breakdown video of why Kobe is the GOAT. I had already started thinking about that, doing some research, but this was the best video I found. So those are some of my reasons. He adjusted to playing with the most dominant big man. He took perfection, perfected perfection, and then expounded on it. Then the people that he came in the league with, he beat. People like Mike, you can argue with LeBron and all that. Kobe had to look Mike in the eye. Kobe guarded Mike. What are we arguing? Mike guarded Kobe. Mike is Mike. He got his. But Kobe was a dog too. He got his also. We're not going to forget this 20-year-old kid was out there working the Bulls, was out there working the league, period. And again, when it came time to get a bucket, you went to that young dog and he delivered. So those are some of my reasons. I'm going to slide over to some of y'all comments. Then we're going to go ahead, get into the video and let it run. I'll pause it throughout and we can, expound on that a little bit. Let me slide up. I'm just slide through. Broken Tradition says Kofi is too hot to be in the garage today. It's that Alabama heat today in Georgia. Hey, I got my fan in the background. I'm glad you guys can't hear it because it's blowing right on me. And I'm good, brother. I'm still in this shade. Let's keep going. It is warm out here, but I know I got to sit out here and smoke and talk about this one. Derek Gaines says, all my long life, I have seen all the GOATs. Kobe is in my top 5 in all sports. And I can respect that, bro. I respect it. And that's something I tell people, like, bro, I'm old enough to remember when Mike played. I seen those championships. I seen their retirement, that comeback, that run, the retirement again, the Wizards Mike teaching the young players. Seen a young, hungry ass Kobe. Seen a young hungry LeBron. However, the eye test, the full skill as an individual basketball player, my hat got to go off to Kobe. It just does. Everybody wants to talk about, LeBron played against better players than Mike and shit like that. You forget Kobe played against those same players. Anyone you can mention that LeBron played against, Kobe beat, to include LeBron. What are we arguing? I'll give you his early career. He's a rookie. He's a teenager playing against grown-ass men and still gave them the business. So he didn't have a chance to grow like Mike did, to have a chance to grow and beat Magic. And this is the other thing. Mike never beat Bird, but he had a chance to beat Magic and he beat Isaiah. He had a chance to grow into those players by the time he came into the league, these other superstars that came before him. Kobe didn't have a chance to grow and beat those guys because they were near retirement. Respect. No problem other than the Utah Jazz, because I wish they, kind of maybe would have went to Eddie Jones back then and something like that. But nobody wanted that pressure on him. Kobe accepted the pressure. As a kid, as a rookie, he accepted the pressure. He took an L and he came back better for it and got 5 of them things. Let's keep going. Jason Williams says, if we're going to keep it 100, Kobe was more skilled than Mike. Yeah, I said it. Kobe, 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 Kobe. That's my point, Jason Williams. Like the other brother said, look, Mike had a system. He had a team that was, they built around him. No disrespect, not taking anything away from the Bulls. They built it around Mike. But when he retired, he came back to essentially the same type of team. Kobe's team was completely different after Shaq left. The Lakers decided to build around him, and he delivered. 3 back-to-back finals appearances, getting 2 of them, right? That's not bad math. And this is the other thing about LeBron. I have never, ever seen anybody argue so hard because he went to the finals 10 times. I've never seen anybody argue so hard about how many times somebody lost. Yes, he got there. Kobe went 7, he got 5. Mike went 6, he got 6. Can't take anything away from him. But Kobe had a harder road and a different path and executed again in 2 eras. And everybody y'all want to mention about LeBron played against, Kobe beats. Keep going with the chat. Y'all in here going in. I appreciate y'all being in here. Make sure as you come in, hit that like button. To me, GOATs equal championships. How many LeBron has, even on a super team. Kobe, 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 Kobe. Peace, Mona D. I appreciate you being in here, sis. I know this isn't our typical topic of discussion, but I don't know if you're a basketball head, because I know some sisters that love ball too, but I think it's safe to say we all respect Kobe's grind. Let me get through these comments. Derek says, 80s and 90s ball was the best time to watch basketball. It really was. Now they just jacking up threes. I'm not going to blame Steph Curry because he could execute that, but a lot of people are trying to copy being Steph, and That's not just traditional basketball. It's cool if you can knock it down, but Steph also know how to come off a screen and finish a layup, and he got a nice mid-range game too. It's not just threes if you're really paying attention. Broker to this says the best thing to happen to Kobe's career was getting traded to the Lakers, because if he stayed on the Hornets, he would have been Michael Redd to team culture matters. It does. And guess what? The Bulls had to build around Mike. They built Cavs built around LeBron. He left, went to Miami and got his. He did the super team thing, different things like that. Everybody's going to have their different path. Everybody's going to have their arguments. Fact is, Kobe did his thing, and we'll never know if he stayed on the Hornets if they would have built around him correctly, and he still would have ended up with 5, maybe 6. This is another reason why I say Kobe the GOAT. I promise you we're going to get to the video. I'll get back to y'all comments in a second. I'm not going to be able to get to them all because the video is like 11 minutes, but it's so much good information in there. I had to use it. But this is the other reason why I say Kobe is the GOAT. Kobe came in at a time where we knew Mike was coming to the end. The whole last dance was, coming down. The Bulls were coming down to their end point of the dynasty, right? So everybody was like, well, who's going to be the next Michael Jordan? We heard Jerry Stackhouse at first. Then it was, Vince Carter and different people like that. Everybody wanted to leave Kobe out the conversation until he started proving, I am he. When he started proving he was that dog, then the league panics, right? Because, wait a minute, we thought we were going to have to wait years for the next Michael Jordan. He's the first Kobe Bryant. We can't have this. So what do? They block the Chris Paul trade. Chris Paul is on his way up at a point guard because now if you give Kobe a floor general, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. Kobe would have ended up with 7. That's my personal belief. Because if he did it without a solid floor general, not taking anything away from Derek Fisher, I love D-Fish. We don't get those rings without Derek Fisher either. Yes, I said we. I'm a diehard Laker fan. But we don't get those rings without Derek Fisher. However, Chris Paul was a legit all-star superstar that was coming. And the league, David Stern, not the teams couldn't agree. They agreed Chris Paul was headed to L.A. They already saw the writing on the wall. Kobe already had been to 4 finals appearances, back-to-back, 4 in a row, and won 3 of them with Shaq. Shaq leaves, kind of break up the team. Now they're getting ready to get Chris Paul. Wait a minute. That means Kobe could go on another run because they had to keep up with that narrative that, he's never going to get back, not even get another ring, just not get back to the finals without Shaq. He's not a leader. Proved them wrong again because not only did Shaq leave, they blocked the Chris Paul trade, and he still went back and got rings, plural. 2 out of 3 ain't bad in my book. But people have their pushback. But with that said, let's get over here to the content of why Kobe is the GOAT.
Kobe Bean Bryant, the greatest player of all time. Does that sound like a reach to you? To many it does. There aren't many who make this claim outside of the biggest Kobe fans in Los Angeles, but by the end of this video, you'll likely see that Kobe has a stronger case as the GOAT than many people give him credit for. Kobe is a fierce competitor, a perennial winner, a 5-time NBA champion, and one of the greatest scorers in NBA history. For years, I have been saying that Kobe is the most amazing player I've ever seen in a literal sense. No player has ever left me in awe more than Kobe did. He did things on the court frequently that you would think no other players could do. Incredible footwork, astonishing fundamentals to go along with his elite athleticism, a remarkable ability to focus on the task at hand and play through injuries that shouldn't be humanly possible, and the ability to frequently hit seemingly impossible shots, whether it was with multiple defenders on him, being off balance, being under contact, or from deep range, or all of the above. It didn't matter. Kobe could do it all offensively, and often did during his...
Don't know why the video's glitching, y'all. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna bring it back just a little bit, see if it plays a little bit smoother.
range, or all of the above. It didn't matter. Kobe could do it all offensively, and often did during his prime, just about every game he played. Kobe also has quite a resume from a statistical standpoint as well. He's 4th on the NBA's all-time scoring list. He's made the most game-winning shots in NBA history. In 2006, he had the 2nd greatest scoring performance in NBA history, scoring 81 points against the Raptors. Just a month prior to that game,
Pause it real quick. BT said LeBron wouldn't be LeBron if it wasn't for Kobe and how Kobe treated the game. And that's the beauty of it, bro. You pass the baton. That's why I love basketball. Yes, it's a team sport, but you got those certain guys that love the game so much, they see who's coming up and they want to take him up under their wing and have those conversations. Salute to Mike for doing that, because, you know, everybody want to get close to Mike. But he saw something in Kobe. That's, again, why I believe Kobe is a GOAT. Because when you're the GOAT at your time, I'm not going to argue about what Michael Jordan was doing at the time. Y'all got that. I'm not going to argue with it. There's nothing to push back on. But when you see somebody and it's like, damn, I see myself in him, and you're a God tier, not just two guard, just basketball player, period. You're on Mount Rushmore already, and you see something in this young cat, that's special. That says something about Kobe. Talk about this 81-point game. A lot of people don't know this. Again, kind of uber Kobe fan. The night he scored 81 points, I'm going to see if anybody knows it in the chat. I'm going to give it a real quick second. Do y'all know how or why he scored those 81 points? Why he went on that tear like that? Anybody? I know there's like a 5-second lag, but just drop whatever y'all think the reason is when he dropped 81 points. Exactly, there, Gaines. How do you score 81 points? Again, in a league with more athleticism, bigger players. Again, why Kobe's a GOAT, because he played against those bigger, more athletic players than Mike. The ones he played against, that Bron played also, Kobe beat. Does anybody have any idea why he dropped those 81 points? Okay, Derek Gaines says he doesn't. You know why Kobe went on the tear that night, y'all? That was the only game that his grandmother came to watch him play the entire time he was in the league. This came out of Kobe's mouth. That night I scored 81, and he kind of brushed it off. But if you listen to Bean talk, you know how he is. He kind of brushed it off. That was the only game my grandma ever came to see me play while I was in the league. So the night his grandma came to watch her baby play, he tore off in Toronto's ass. When you want to talk about some inspiration, hey, this is the only time my grandma gonna watch me play, maybe. She hadn't been to any other games before that, just admire and loved her child from afar. But the night she was in the stands, you don't think that played a mental part? Like Mike, Kobe was always looking for that edge. And we'll get into some of the stories in a minute from other players. But he was always looking for that edge. Grandmama in the stands tonight, and I don't even think the brother planned to score 81. Plus, he didn't even play the last few minutes of the fourth or whatever. I don't even know if they played him in the fourth. I can't even remember. I just know he cooked, period. 81. Grandma in the stands. Here you go. Buckets. Can't fuck with me.
Kobe, 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 Kobe.
Let's get back to the video.
He did something that I think was arguably even more impressive when he scored 62 points in only 3 quarters against the Dallas Mavericks, an elite Mavericks team that was ranked 7th defensively and went on to the NBA Finals that season. Not only did Kobe score 62 in 3 quarters against one of the best teams in the league, but he actually outscored them through 3 quarters, 62-61. No player in NBA history has ever outscored the opposing team by himself. When Wilt Chamberlain scored 100 points in a single game, he wasn't even close to that feat, and yet Kobe had a realistic chance at outscoring an NBA Finals team single-handedly if he had simply played in the 4th quarter of that game. The list of achievements goes on. He was an 18-time All-Star, 12-time All-Defense Team, 4-time All-Star Game MVP, and 2-time Finals MVP. Despite Kobe's historic and GOAT-worthy career, many try to invalidate some of his accomplishments with various narratives about his career. One of the narratives people use is that Kobe was a sidekick to Shaq during their 3 championships together. They'll say that Shaq carried Kobe, or at the very least, Shaq was clearly the best player during their dynasty days. Let me start by picking apart this ridiculous narrative year by year and show you how these years actually strengthen Kobe's GOAT argument.
Listen up.
The year 2000 was Kobe and Shaq's first championship run. Throughout the regular season, Shaq averaged 29 points and 13 rebounds on 57% shooting, while Kobe averaged 22 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists on 47% shooting. This was the only championship season where Shaq was clearly the better player, but even with that being said, neither Shaq or Kobe could have won the championship without the other player. Everyone remembers Shaq dominating the NBA Finals and securing Finals MVP, but they also forget the road to the Finals. In the Western Conference Finals against the Blazers, it was Kobe who balled out in Game 7 when the Lakers needed it most. Kobe outscored and out-rebounded Shaq in the deciding game with 25 points, 11 rebounds, and 7 assists compared to Shaq's 18, 9, and 5. It was Kobe, more so than Shaq, who led the 15-point comeback in the fourth quarter, hitting plenty of clutch shots. Although Shaq went on to be the Finals MVP against the Pacers, many forget that Shaq fouled out in Game 4 of the NBA Finals. It was a 21-year-old Kobe.
Bring it back a little bit so it can run again. I don't know. Catching up with itself starts buffering.
Many forget that Shaq fouled out in Game 4 of the NBA Finals. It was a 21-year-old Kobe who took over in overtime and won the game for the Lakers. A 21-year-old on the NBA's biggest stage in its most crucial moments hit clutch shot after clutch shot to seal the game for his team. That's something a 21-year-old NBA player doesn't normally do. But then there's Kobe Bryant. The following season in 2001, Shaq may have been the Finals MVP then too, but Kobe was probably the MVP of the West playoffs. Kobe averaged 29 points, 7 rebounds, and 6 assists on 47% shooting throughout the playoffs. In the 4-game sweep over their rivals, the Sacramento Kings, Kobe averaged 35 points, 9 rebounds, and 4 assists on 47% shooting. In the Western Conference Finals against the team with the best record in the NBA, the San Antonio Spurs, Kobe led the 4-game sweep, averaging 33 points, 7 rebounds, and 7 assists on 51% shooting. That is not the stats of a man who was carried. That's the stats of a 22-year-old assassin who was championship ready and seizing the moment. The season after that, in the 2002 Western Conference playoffs, Kobe was once again arguably the MVP. He led the...
Pause right there. Are y'all hearing the numbers? I'm bringing it back a little bit so the video can catch up with itself. Are y'all hearing the numbers? Look at that. 35 points, 9 boards, and 4 assists a game. Because Kobe don't pass, right? I mean, somebody talk to me in the chat. Kobe don't pass, right? But he made everybody remember the alley-oop to Shaq to pretty much put a cap on the Trailblazers that year. Look at those numbers, man. This a young, early 20s Kobe. This is Froby. This is, oh, he'll never be as good as Mike. Oh, he's a great sidekick, Kobe. Look at them numbers. Let's keep on going.
7% shooting. In the Western Conference Finals against the team with the best record in the NBA, the San Antonio Spurs, Kobe led the 4-game sweep, averaging 33 points, 7 rebounds, and 7 assists on 51% shooting. That is not the stats of a man who was carried. That's the stats of a 22-year-old assassin who was championship ready and seizing the moment. The season after that, in the 2002 Western Conference playoffs, Kobe was once again arguably the MVP. He led the Lakers in scoring 2 of the 3 rounds, and the games were filled with clutch Kobe moments. So not only was Kobe not carried during their 3 championship runs, but he was arguably the best player during the tougher Western Conference playoffs 2 out of their 3 championship seasons. And again, Kobe was only 21 to 23 years old during these runs. If that isn't information that supports someone's GOAT case, then I don't know what does. After the Kobe and Shaq split in the summer of 2004, Kobe would be left to compete in the tough Western Conference with a horrible supporting cast. This is one of the most unique aspects of Kobe's GOAT case, is the fact that Kobe may be the only GOAT candidate who spent the prime of his career with a terrible supporting cast. Over the next 3 years, Kobe's starting teammates would often be some combination of Lamar Odom, Smush Parker, Chucky Atkins, Luke Walton, Kwame Brown, and Chris Mim. Holy crap, talk about having to carry a franchise. Throughout those 3 years were some of Kobe's most historic moments. He scored 81 points, 62 and 3/4, 50 in 4 straight games, averaged 35 points, and so on. This was Kobe's best basketball of his career, but it was likely because it was the most motivated he had been in his entire career. With the recent split with Shaq, the narrative was present and growing stronger that Kobe could not win a championship without Shaq. A determined Kobe was desperate to destroy that narrative, but his opportunity didn't come until the Lakers secured Pau Gasol in a trade during the 07-08 season. It was then that the Lakers immediately started winning, made 3 straight trips to the finals, and won 2 more championships. As crazy as this may sound, I personally don't think Kobe gets enough credit for the Lakers' 2 championship runs for his 4th and 5th ring. For one, how many players in NBA history have won multiple championships with 2 different rosters and with different co-stars? Magic didn't do it, he always had Kareem. Jordan didn't do it, he always had Pippen. Duncan didn't do it, he had Manu and Parker for 4 of his 5 championships. Kobe did something that's never been done in modern NBA history. He won multiple NBA championships with a co-star and then won another 2 multiple championships with another co-star. As great and amazing as Pau Gasol is, in his 6 years before joining Kobe's Lakers, he had never won a single playoff game in his career. Kobe and Pau made a great tandem.
Pause it real quick. I'm going to read y'all off something else. I forgot to download this one. I hope y'all can see it, but says players to win back-to-back championships without a top 75 teammate. Kobe Bryant. End of list. No, there's a slight glare. Bring that over. No, bring it back. But yeah, that's what it says. Again, players to win back-to-back championships without a top 75 teammate. Because Powell wasn't on the 75 when they got that done. Kobe Bryant. End of list. Let's keep on going.
NBA championships with a co-star and then won another 2 multiple championships with another co-star. As great and amazing as Pau Gasol is, in his 6 years before joining Kobe's Lakers, he had never won a single playoff game in his career. Kobe and Pau made a great tandem, but let's not act like they were this superstar duo that was expected to dominate the NBA like Durant and Curry are, or like Wade and LeBron were. During Kobe's 3 straight finals appearances, Kobe beat 10 50-win teams in the playoffs. In neither of Jordan's 3 championship runs did he face as many 50-win teams. It took LeBron James his entire 8 straight finals appearances to match the amount of 50-win teams that Kobe beat in only 3 years. My point is essentially that Kobe won his 2 championships without Shaq against some of the toughest competition a superstar player has ever seen. Not only was the competition about as fierce as it gets, but Kobe had the deck stacked against him for his 2 championship runs. During the 08-09 championship season, just 50 games in, Andrew Bynum went down to a torn MCL. Despite the fact that their 3rd best player's season had been essentially ruined, Kobe still led the Lakers to win the championship that season. The following season, only 21 games in, Kobe fractured his index finger on his shooting hand. Rather than missing any time or receiving surgery on the finger, Kobe continued to play throughout the season with the broken finger. Even a broken and wrapped index finger on his shooting hand wasn't enough to stop Kobe from leading the Lakers to their 2nd straight championship. This is what makes Kobe so special. Players with broken index finger on his shooting hand wasn't enough to stop Kobe from leading the Lakers to their 2nd straight championship. This is what makes Kobe so special. Players with broken bones aren't supposed to lead teams to success, but then there's Kobe Bryant. The reality is, Kobe's career was not supposed to be as legendary as it was. Not when you consider the fact that Kobe was almost always battling through significant injuries, he fought through a loaded Western Conference throughout his career, and he spent the prime of his career with a laughable supporting cast. Yet despite all of that, Kobe still comes out on top with legendary numbers and 5 championship rings. This is why Kobe Bryant is the greatest player of all time. Thanks for watching my video, guys. This is video number 3 of 6 in my GOAT series. Let me know in the comments section who's your pick to be the greatest player of all time. Make sure to like and subscribe.
Kobe, 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 Kobe.
Y'all heard the numbers. Y'all saw the tape. Y'all saw the footwork. What are we arguing? Different paths than Mike, different paths than LeBron, yes. And executed. The West was nothing to sneeze at. People like to argue, well, LeBron took, the Cavs to the finals in his 4th year in the league or something like that. And I have to tell brothers, bro, if it's 5 of us just hanging out on the corner, we could have came out of the East that year. The guy just said it. The West was stacked. Kobe was a dog. He was determined to win. I'm not saying it was easy. I'm not saying they just sliced up the competition. Yes, he had Shaq, but guess what? Shaq had him. Mike had Pippen. Bron had Kyrie. Bron had D-Wade. Bron had Bosh. What are we talking about? Bubble. Bron had a healthy AD. Tim Duncan had Manu, Parker, and a great Spurs system under Greg Popovich. Kobe had to switch coaches a couple of times, go through subpar NBA players. I hate to say subpar because they're in the top tier of the league or whatnot. Like, they made the NBA, they made a roster, they're playing. But as far as NBA players were concerned, wasn't nobody finna make the All-Star team. Wasn't nobody else on that team going to make a first or second NBA team. And yet Kobe still led. He stuck, he stayed, he won. Slide over to some of y'all comments. I think I asked, Derek Gaines says, have you seen the commercial when Kobe ordered a drink with 81 olives as a flex on Jalen Rose? Yes, that shit is hilarious as well. Peace again, Mo. I appreciate you being in here, sis. Brokerage of this says if Shaq didn't have an ego, they would have won more rings. He left Kobe like he left Penny. Shaq was a brat.
Got it! Hotter than fish grease.
Brokerage she says, I feel you, bro. If it wasn't so hot, I would have pulled up Kofa to join you for this live. All good, brother. It ain't that bad, man. The garage is shaded. Like I said, I got the fan, and I got my Cool Barks root beer. Well, need an endorsement, y'all. I'm going to have to start reaching out to y'all because I need some of these endorsements for the sticks and the drinks. Let's keep going. Broken Traditions also says that Mamba mentality is something different. That's why I have his book in the background of my videos. I think we talked about that too. Like you were saying, you had it. I know I got it. And a couple other content creators we know got it sitting in the background, bro. It's a reason. And it's not just, hey, we like basketball. Like, it's something to that Mamba mentality. And it's different when you give yourself a nickname and that shit sticks. People respect. When he said, I'm the Black Mamba, who was going to argue with it? One of the most deadliest snakes on the face of the planet. And that's what that brother brought to that court every night. An assassin. Let's see. BT and that goofy asshole he married in hell. Oh, I think y'all talking about Shaq. Let me I'll let y'all have that conversation. Let me see. I know I missed some other comments. Just want to see what y'all feeling about this. Mo says he carried the team. Damn, Granny, still can't believe he passed. Yep. I swear to God, man. Sometimes I'll be on my 15th, damn Kobe, a day. Like that was my dude, man. And this other thing, if anybody remembers the draft class when they had Slam magazine, they still have Slam, but Slam magazine is a basketball magazine for those that don't know, really popular. It's like the source for basketball, basically, if you know about the source in hip hop. But Slam magazine had all the top 13 players that got drafted, Steve Nash, all those guys. And Kobe had a broken thumb then. His hand was in the cast. If you go back and look at that picture, his hand is behind his arm. He's standing kind of to the side, so you really can't tell. It just looks like he's giving you a side pose in the picture because he had a cast on his wrist. Let me see. Sean says, who was the guy that was called the poor man's MJ? He played for the Bulls and was on championship team. It was Pippen. You know, Michael Jordan was considered Superman, and Pippen was Batman because he didn't have the superpowers that Michael Jordan had as Superman, basically. But I don't sneeze at Pip either. There's some great players, but again, Kobe beat all of them, to include Pippen when he was playing for the Trailblazers. They just couldn't get. Shaq was a beast, yes, but when it came down to that bucket, it was Bean. Let me get through the comments. Derek Gaines think he's talking about athletes in general. He says Ali, Hagler, Tyson, Bird, Magic, Ken Griffey Jr. I mean, all the GOATs, and Kobe is in my top 5. Look, in any respective sport, if you come with that mentality and you come with that type of work ethic, it's hard to beat that, man. I mean, it's really hard to beat that. And you're willing to do the work on top of that. Let me slide over here. I'm afraid to say it, but that was the main video I wanted to get through. I got some more videos because every time I say we're not going to be on here long, guys, we end up being on here very long, like 2.5 hours. But I don't think we're going to be on here long today. I just wanted to have this conversation. I am going to drop a link in the chat in a minute. But let me get to some of these Kobe stories about, you know, the players that played against him and how much they respected him and kind of how he just had them in awe with the things he was able to do. I missed this from BT. He said, Kobe, I hate watching today's game. I've never seen someone so mad watching in real time. Bro, you watched the game with me, and something we just sit there and look like, what the fuck are they doing? It kind of looks like, hey, they're playing really hard, but kind of like they're just having fun. You really don't see the cuts and just different stuff other than, a team like we just saw with Denver or the Warriors, where you're setting these back screens and Princeton cuts and just different little nuances of the game. If you grew up watching in the 90s and stuff like that, you know the little ins and outs if you was really paying attention, other than just for entertainment, basically, or something to talk about at work. There, he wrote you this, said, Derek Gaines, Kobe got the record for points in the game because ain't no record with Wilt Chamberlain doing this except the pic of him holding 100 on a piece of paper.
Kobe, 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 Kobe.
Yeah, man, I respect Kobe's 81 more than Wilt, because guess what? Wilt's around the basket. Kobe got his mainly off of jump shots, again, against more athletic players. They tried to switch on who was going to guard him, and he still wound up with 81. Again, shout out to his grandma for showing up that night. I don't think it was planned like, hey, I'm going to go out here and score 81 points because my grandma's in here, but I'm going to make it worthwhile if this is the first game that she's come to, and needless to say, he did that. Let's see. Oh, Sean says it was Ron Harper who was the poor man's MJ. Sean, you know your basketball. Real talk, it was Ron Harper. When Ron Harper first got drafted in the league, he was, I think Ron was 6'6" as well. Ron Harper could jump out the gym, had a nice jump shot, good defense. Y'all remember how lanky he was? Ron Harper could ball. He was really on a way up to being like, I'm not going to say MJ level at the time because MJ was that, but I would even say a Drexler or a Pippen. Like, Ron Harper could ball. but then he blew his knee. He had a real bad knee injury, and that's why he ended up playing a lot of big point guard later on when they picked up the Bulls, because he was on that Cavs team. Everybody remember the famous shot that Michael Jordan hit the free throw line. The shot on Elo, it's good, and Mike is pumping his fist in the air. Ron Harper was on that Cavs team. Ron Harper was a solid ass player, and Ron Harper was pissed because it's a clip on the internet. You can go find it where Ron Harper is talking about when it came down to that last play of the game, he told the coach to let him guard Mike instead of putting Elo on him. He had a longer wingspan, he could jump high, he was more athletic. The coach said no, he left Elo on him. Mike hits the shot, rest is history. So Ron Harper was like, this is some bullshit. So he eventually, he ended up getting on the Bulls on that second three-peat with him. So you're right, Sean. You know your basketball until you've been around a little bit. Yep. Quiet Storm just said it. Ron Harper was mad when they put Craig Elo on MJ when MJ hit the shot. Yep. Big facts. But until you get this, I forgot to give you this.
Got it! Hotter than fish grease!
You know your basketball, Auntie. I ain't mad. Because you're up there in Chicago, so you probably done seen some of these games. Auntie says, and Charles Oakley used to get ejected all the time when someone did something to MJ. That was his bodyguard. So Mike had a bodyguard when he first came in the league. Ron Harper was Charles Oakley was a bruiser before he even got traded to the Knicks. They went somewhere else, traded him to the Knicks, drafted Horace Grant, and went on that different run because Charles Oakley really wasn't an offensive power forward like that. He did his thing. He rebounded. My homeboy calling me. He rebounded, battled down low, that type of stuff. Defense, all that. Derek Gaines says, as far as about the game today, no post players anymore. Even in baseball, there's always a power hitter. I'd rather watch bowling than today's pro ball.
Got it! Hotter than fish grease!
Oh, man. I can't help it, Derek. I'm still watching the league as much as an old man I've become and complaining about it. Let me get to Quiet Storm's comment real quick. Ron Harper said it on The Last Dance. Lenny Wilkins was bugging. The Cavs team wasted the prime of Brad Daugherty, Mark Price, Larry Nance, and John Hot Rod Williams' career. They did. The Cavs was something serious back then, bro. They had a squad. But the Bulls had Mike. What do you do? Let me slide over here to this other video. We're just going to listen to some people tell their different stories about Kobe. This is like 35 minutes long. I am not going to get anywhere near that. I'm going to let the first few minutes play. Then we're going to hear from AI and a couple of other players. But I want to let y'all hear from AI because that was, Kobe's draft class, his counterpart. Somebody, again, he ended up being in the finals. But shout out to Bubba Chuck. Y'all know who AI is, bro. We can't argue with that man either. Take away the championship thing, pound for pound. His size, able to do what he did, it's an argument that he could be the GOAT if it wasn't for the rings. But we're here today for
Kobe, 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 Kobe.
Let's get to these stories.
Playing against Kobe is like playing against a grizzly bear. If anything, any fear in you that shows, he's going to expose it. I've actually enjoyed the encounters and the competition against Kobe, man. Kobe's going to bring the best out of you. And when you play the best, you know you better be on your best. And anytime I'm pushed like that, I have nothing but great respect for that.
Story that I heard that you landed in LA and Kobe picked you up.
Black Range Rover.
Yeah, he picked you up because he just wanted to chop it up with you, and after y'all go out to eat or whatever, you decide to go out. He tell your ass, I'm dropping you off to the hotel. This is my stop. I'm going to work out. I'm going to the gym. Is that a true story?
He took me out to eat, and I said, what you getting ready to do? I'm going to the club. And he said, I'm going to the gym. And that was him. That was That's what made, I mean, that greatness. That's where that greatness came from, because his work ethic
second to none.
was just.
But I guarantee you, it's probably a handful of people on the other team that he was playing that he did that he can't. Because you know Kobe, he ain't talking to nobody through the game. Damn sure not nobody on another team. So I'm just saying, that showed the respect he had for you. Kobe ain't going to pick up nobody that he finna play against the next day. Hell nah.
It was all
you know that ain't his MO.
Yeah.
Hell nah.
He was studying you the whole time. Studying what you was eating, studying what you was saying. No bullshit. That's how he was. He was a sicko when it came to that kind of shit, like trying to find any kind of advantage or angle he could possibly get. Like, I got stories when I got a chance to play with him and just to see what he would do to study people, study film. This motherfucker, we were flying to Spain one time in the preseason. I've told this story before, but he had a...
I'm going to pause it right there. I'm going to get to two of these comments because it's a good-ass story, man. This goes into the mind state, the Mamba mentality. But let me get to Quiet Storm's comment. He says, Ron Harper had a bad speech impediment just like I do, so I understood him from that aspect. Respect, brother. Respect, respect. Sean says, I remember all those guys playing, the Cavs team we just mentioned, Brad Daugherty, Mark Price, all those guys. Every last one of them. I watched with my ex-husband. Basketball was his game. Yes, I love basketball. That's just my game. Let me see. Quiet Storm also says Kobe was an animal. I knew his IQ was off the charts, but when he came out with that Mind of Kobe series on ESPN, I was blown away. That man was such a student of the game and b-ball junkie.
Kobe, 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 Kobe.
Big time, and that's a good segue into this story that Matt Barnes getting ready to tell.
I thought he was over there rapping. Everyone was asleep. I went over to talk to him. I was about to talk shit to him about rapping. But he was over there with a piece of paper with like 30 different basketball courts on it, and he's just like, I know that I'm going to draw at least 3 people. So I got the guy guarding me, the guy that's coming to double, and then the help side. So I'm over here looking to see where you, L.O., Ron, Steve, Fish are all going to be open at when I'm guarded by 3 people. And he had like 30 different courts. This is where you're going to be. This is where L.O.'s going to. I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, why are we flying? Like, everyone else knocked out. I couldn't sleep. But it was just like little things like that. And then I would go to Orange County and work out with him. And we on the track before the sun comes up. And then we lift weights so hard that, all right, let's go shoot. And I'm like, motherfucker, I can't lift my arms. You want me to go shoot a basketball right now? Like, his grind was sickening, sickening. Yeah, that was his thing, man.
If anybody know Cole respects you if you a dog and you gonna go at him.
You go back at him.
And that's when Cole started to respect me, when he realized, like, I'm not backing down. And it's not that attention, it's just who I am. I mean, me and Cole, we got into a little tussle in the All-Star game a little bit, and I ended up hitting him the wrong way and he broke his nose.
That was the first time I've ever seen that.
But I'm gonna tell you the thing. So after All-Star break, we got the Lakers about like 3 games after the break.
Yes, he got the mask on.
He got the mask
yes.
on. But you know what? I called him, you know, I'm not didn't maliciously do it. I called him and I said, yo, Cole. He was like, bro, I love it. I'm like, you what? He's like, I love it. I see you in a couple days. I'm like, oh, this, oh, snap. And when he gave it to me too, boy.
Well, that game was exciting because you knew Michael in the Garden was always going to do something special. The biggest thing that stood out was Kobe was going to go after Michael, and he wasn't scared. And one of the plays that I will never forget, and we can ask Karl Malone about it someday,
I was going to bring it up.
is that he asked for a pick and roll, and Kobe waved them off. And I think we were all in awe or in shock that that's, you know, Karl Malone, pick and roll, John Stockton, they've done it a million times. So Kobe and Karl, and Kobe was like, no, I got this all by myself. And he waved Karl out, and he did his thing. And I think Karl was like, okay, I need to come out of the game because this is past me now.
That's what exactly I was going to ask you, because Karl Malone was people forget, he was the MVP of the league at that time. In 97, he won MVP. What was it like after the game, or even on the bench when y'all were around Karl? What was he talking like?
Well, one, for you to just have the nerve to wave Karl off, even if he wasn't the MVP, just because of his muscles, you had to be different. And so on the bench, we were all in tears and laughing and giving Karl a hard time about, you must have didn't set a good screen. And so, but it just showed Kobe's determination to be the best, and he wanted to be the next Michael Jordan, if not better. And he wanted that one-on-one challenge, and he didn't feel like he needed Carl's help at the time.
I remember you had Coach Kobe.
Pause it right there. First, we started with KG, AI. Again, guys in his draft class around his age, NBA age, coming in the league. So you hear from guys he's played against and he's beat. Now you're hearing from an elder statesman in Jason Kidd saying that he waved off Karl Malone. And like he said, Stockton to Malone or vice versa, the pick and roll, it works. But he wanted to go at Mike. This is a hungry 19-year-old. No fear. Waves off the pick and backs Mike down, and we've seen him fade away on Mike. Yeah, bro, this your move, but it's mine now. You can't take away that man's hunger at any age. Again, he played in two eras, if not three, if you want to argue by the time KD and Westbrook and those guys came in the league. He's played in two different eras and gave everybody the business. Let's keep on going with the stories.
War down in Orlando, and I came out early to say hi to Ty Lue, I think it was, and they were telling me, "Oh, Max ready for you, Max ready for the game." And I remember reading about you having some tightness in your back. I said, "Yeah." And I said, "Yeah, how's his back?" "Oh, so he's ready for you." I said, "He's gonna be fine when I hit him in that." Listen, so I'm gonna check.
Yeah.
I'm gonna check that back.
I had like 21 in the first half. I could have swore this dude. I think I came up. Got a rebound, and when I went down, he jumped up behind me, and I swear I got an elbow in my back. I swear I got an elbow in my back, and I had a contusion. I was out. I had a contusion. I was like, yo, he did that because I was cooking in the first half, right? And I was like, damn.
He is competitive, drinking a cup of coffee.
Hey, listen,
you know that's going to happen.
I just wanted to test the back out, see how healthy it is.
Knowing that he's one of the greatest in my eye, probably my Michael Jordan, if I could say the words to say the least. But he's a great competitor. For the most part, every battle that I faced against him, I watched the most film on him more than any other player.
Really?
I'm talking about from the day before the game, the day of the game, and right before the game. And it's like so much film I had to put in, and just to see the fact that he actually said that about me, it kind of surprised me because we never talked on the court.
No.
We was always at each other's head, and we wasn't nobody budging. He'd throw an elbow, I'd throw an elbow. It'd be one of those type of competitive battles, but it was a big loss for all us in basketball.
Yes, it was.
What made him so tough?
Just his relentlessness, his mentality to seek and destroy. He comes to the game. Some days he might not even dap you, or some days he just might be real quiet with his jaws get tight right here. Anytime his jaws get tight right there, he trying to shoot at least 25 attempts, like field goals. So I just know he's not backing down, and there's no shot that's going to discourage him. He might miss his first 8, but in the fourth quarter, you just better believe he's that confident to shoot the next 5. And you don't have a lot of superstars like that, and he don't mind taking the blame. And, I've been around this league a lot of times. I've seen guys shy away from those moments, and he's a guy that never done that.
And
this is one of the guys that had to guard Kobe on a regular basis. And that was the thing that set Kobe apart from a lot of other superstars. He respected these guys. That's why he gave them buckets, because he was so meticulous, like Matt Barnes was just talking about. They're on a plane traveling, everybody else is asleep. He has 30 different basketball courts drawn up, trying to figure out just different options. He played chess mentally before he even stepped on the court. And then when he run into, I forgot bro's name, I think his last name Allen, but when he ran into those type of defenders, the Shane Battier's, guys that were supposed to be Kobe stoppers, Bruce Bowens, he respected them enough to know that he had to have 2 or 3 counter moves because he respected the game and he respected his opponent. So let me figure this out before I even get myself into these situations. Then we'll go practice those situations in practice. And something else that Kobe said, look, it's nothing to do it on the court after I've done it 1,000 times in practice. I've already done it before. Now it's just during the game. It's in front of everybody, but I'm confident in what I've practiced. He put in the work. He was confident in his training. He respected his opponent enough to know, hey, this is how this guy's going to play defense. This is how I have to beat him on offense, and he did it. I'm going to let KG get the last word, then I'm going to come on back. Like I said, this video's super long. We will really be here all day if we listen to these stories of how great Kobe was.
Just being honest with everybody, I wanted to link with Kobe, because Kobe and I had like a.
How can you not?
Listen to me. But Kobe and I had like a different connect. Like when Kobe and Shaq went on they little thing, a lot of people went with Shaq. A lot of people didn't even fuck with Kobe. You know, Kobe, whatever. I'm one of the very few that just stayed with him. And I was a neutral guy anyway. I show everybody love. You know what I'm
Kobe
saying?
loved dogs.
But Kobe respect dogs. like real cat star. If you ever notice, he never really got into it with somebody that he really respected. You know what I'm saying? Like I watched when you and him went at it, and you threw the ball, he flinched. It was a form of respect there that they was talking. Nobody noticed, but they was talking simultaneously. Like, nigga, I wish you would hit me with this ball. You got more respect than me than that. So him and Matt I already knew that, but players know this.
Yeah.
And then you already know who I'm. If we get into it and we get the tech, it's verbal. If we bumping, I'm already knowing what he's saying to me without even talking. So that's how we used
real
to.
shit. People
Real
don't know
shit.
that.
Like
That's a real
not even
shit.
thinking. That's how players actually was talking and dealing with each other. So whenever I would watch him get into it with somebody and he actually would get into it, it was either because he didn't respect them and it went like that, or he respected them and it went a whole nother way.
We're starting to build a culture at USA Basketball. And he, Chauncey Billups, and Jason Kidd were added to add veteran leadership to LeBron and Carmelo and those guys who were great guys. And so we're getting ready to get ready for Beijing. And so I'm with my staff in Vegas a couple days before the team comes in, and all of a sudden there's a knock on the door. It's 2 days early, and it's Kobe. He said, "Coach, can I talk to you for a minute?" And I said, "Certainly." So we went to a private room, and I said, "What do you need?" He said, I need to ask you a favor." And I said, "Yeah, what is it?" And he said, "I want to guard the best perimeter player on every team that we play." Now, he's the NBA scoring champ. He's the best player in the league at that time. He had 7 50-point games that year. And he knew that he would have to change a little bit and be a leader. But he says, I want to guard the best perimeter player. And then he pauses, and his eyes, he and Jordan had the same eyes. They killed you with their eyes. And he leans forward and he said, "Coach, I promise you I'll destroy him." So I got, holy shit. I said, "This is good." So we go and we have a team meeting, and the first practice, he doesn't take a shot. He does not take one shot. And he's playing defense. And so I call him over afterwards. I said, this destroy thing. He says, "Coach, I promised you I'll destroy him." I said, "Look, I've seen you destroy teams offensively. Will you shoot the frickin' ball?" And he smiled, he had that smile. And he said from then on, I was the only coach ever to ask him to shoot. And you know what he was doing, JJ? He had this vision of moments. He knew that for us to win the gold medal, we would have to beat Argentina, whether it be in a semis or the gold medal game. And that he wanted to guard Ginobili. Believe me, he already had that figured out. And he was going to prepare to guard Ginobili. It wasn't just to set an example for his team. He had that vision. Crazy. So we do play Argentina in the semis, and we're beating them by 20 points, and Ginobili gets hurt. So now you think we're going to win by 40. And it becomes a 6-point game because now he's not interested anymore. That's who he is. That's who he was. God bless him.
Like, we had a he gonna be mad at me for this.
Man, I'm gonna pause it. I'm gonna bring it back on me. Get to some of y'all comments. Still had about like 20 minutes to go on that video, man, of cats just having story after story after story after story of Kobe, man. But I had to get the last word to Coach K. Salute to him. I'm a North Carolina fan, but salute to Duke. Hate him, but respect him. It is what it is. Let me slide over here to y'all comments. Quiet Storm says, oh yeah, that was Tony Allen, who was no slouch on defense either. He was relentless too. He really was. And again, Kobe respected him, figured him out, had to cook him too. Jason Williams says, I remember how they would put Grant Hill on Kobe. I used to feel bad for him.
Kobe, 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 Kobe.
And Grant Hill, again, that was another one that was supposed to be, Michael Jordan's heir apparent. Granted, he did get injured. I was a huge Grant Hill fan. I was shaving my head since I was a kid because I thought it was Grant Hill at first. But loved Grant Hill. But he said Kobe was the best player that he's ever played against. And it wasn't taking anything away from Michael Jordan. He said, because, I never really had to guard Mike. He usually guarded Pippen. He was a small forward. So he didn't have to guard Mike. But the best player he played against was Kobe. But he did play against those Michael Jordan-led Bulls teams when he came in the league and he was on his ascension. So that's, again, somebody that came before him, he had to give the business to. Let's keep going. Quiet Storm says, I hope Ruben Patterson is on this special. I would love to hear his perspective as the self-proclaimed Kobe stopper. Funny story about that. Man, I had so many clips and I couldn't drop them all in here. Jesus, because again, we'd be on here all day. But they talked about that, where Ruben Patterson, I think it was Rasheed Wallace, Stoudemire, those guys at the time, they said they were trying to come up with something to mentally, they didn't know who they were fucking with at the time, to mentally try to get in Kobe's head. So they put that out there that Ruben Patterson was the Kobe stopper. I think that was the first time that was used. That he was the Kobe stopper, right? So they put it out there because they knew the media was going to get it and talk about it and Kobe would eventually hear it, hoping that for whatever reason it was going to rattle him and then they could just focus on Shaq. We know that backfired because I think somebody else said it. Jason Williams, yeah, you came back and said Patterson wasn't stopping shit. And he wasn't.
Kobe, 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 Kobe.
Yeah, he wasn't nobody fucking with KB, man. We can talk about this shit all day again. Derek Gaines says, I remember when Kobe called Dwight Howard soft on live TV. He was right. He was. And man, everybody was so big on getting Dwight at the time. When the Lakers were wanting to try to go, for a third ring or whatnot. And they traded for him and Steve Nash. Steve Nash was kind of older and hurt. He was more broke down, even though he was in the same draft class as Kobe. But I didn't want Dwight Howard back then. I felt like he was soft back then, even though he was, the best big man in the league. I really wanted them to go get that young AD because I think he was a free agent at the time or coming up on it. But I think they could have worked the trade and had AD in LA earlier, and I think he would be a different AD if he was up under Kobe's leadership instead of LeBron's. That's my opinion. No shot at LeBron. Kobe's just that dude, period. I'm sorry. I think he would have been a better player now if he would have got traded there earlier in his career. Let me keep going. Yep, Quiet Storm. And when Kobe heard that Kobe stopper talk about Patterson, when Kobe heard him say that he dropped 50 on him in the next game against Portland. Gave them boys that work, like Kobe does. Always looking for that edge, always looking for some type of inspiration. Jason Williams has said KG is a real live head case, and I love him. That's one regret as a Laker fan, that I wish LA would have went and tried to get him. I'm not mad at Powell though, but I love KG, man. That would have been something to see. Him and Kobe, some straight up dogs on the team. Oh my God, I can only imagine. Quiet Storm says Matt Barnes crapped his shorts when Kobe didn't flinch. That was respect to respect. Barnes tried him. He knew Kobe wasn't flinching, and that's why Kobe hit him up in the offseason after that championship and said, if you're crazy enough to fuck with me, you crazy enough to play with me. And he ended up on the Lakers the next year. It was something that was just missing. from that team, we needed one more piece that we didn't have to be able to get past some of those younger players. I think we got a little bit more energy because we had the veterans that could still execute, but just a little bit more younger energy, which is where Chris Paul would have came in. But again, the Lakers tried, the league blocked it, so Kobe couldn't get number 6 and tie Mike and possibly number 7 and beat him. Let's keep going. Quiet Storm said these NBA players now don't have that mindset. Everyone want to be friends with each other, even during the game. Kobe said, F that. I want to ruin you in every way on the court. Big facts. That was where that Mamba mentality came in. Quiet Storm says, I remember Ruben. He was a beast here in Cincinnati when he played for the Bearcats. He was a dog in college, and he was a dog in the NBA. I'm not taking away anything from anybody. Again, that just adds to Kobe's legacy for me. All these guys that he played against, that he beat, were great elite players, elite defenders. He was just that guy. He was just that meticulous with figuring out the X and O's. I'm here. My defender is here. This guy's coming to help. This other one might rotate. If I go this way, so-and-so is going to be open. Let's go here. Sean says, this was informative and entertaining. You know I comment in your source as much as possible. Sometimes I'm the first to comment. Got to get the ball rolling, baby. I appreciate you, Auntie. Thank you. Talking about Kobe passing, I just think this shit is so funny, man. The joy in Ron Artest's Metal World Peace's heart when they won that second championship, man, it like a big-ass kid. So let's get into that, man, and then we're going to get ready to wrap up.
Kobe passed me the ball. He never passed me the ball. And he passed me the ball.
I hope my children come and visit once or twice. That's a phrase. The Lakers repeat back-to-back.
I just always thought that shit was funny, man. Bring it back on me. I just always thought it was funny because guess what? That was that Jordan to Kerr, Jordan to Paxton type of pass. You know they coming to double you because everybody know who the ball is going to. Do you trust your teammates? He trusted Ron Artest, and it paid off. Again, leadership. People say, oh, well, Kobe didn't pass. And he was talking about that one day. He was like, why would I pass so-and-so the ball? I'm there at practice. I see you come in late. I see you leave early. I don't see you working out extra. Why would I trust you in the game, in particular when the game's on the line? Why would I trust you to pass you the ball? Because you're doing the bare minimum. And he was trying to get rings, which he did when they got the right people around him, but that's who Kobe was. Derek Gaines says, great live. I appreciate you, brother. Let me do this real quick. Hold on. Quiet Storm says, I was so pissed when the Bulls traded him and Jamal Crawford away. I'm glad we got Ron Harper. I wish we could have got Crawford because that man is a monster on that court. Straight up hooper. Let me do this. I'm going to open up the chat real quick. Let me do this. Copy this. Drop this in here. If anybody wants to come up and just share their thoughts about Kobe, anybody that may be ninja watching, ghost watching or whatnot, come up. Just hit me up. We can chop it up real quick. If nobody wants to come up, nobody wants to cam up, that's fine. And as long as you flash your camera and I know you're a real person, just so I, stray away from the copyright strikes, no crazy troller trying to show their boobs or some crazy shit like that. But if I can see you in the background on your camera, then you can take it down and come up and comment. I'm gonna leave that up a second. Let me see if I can do this real quick. Hopefully, let me see. I'm gonna try to bring up another video in the meantime while we're waiting. Cause like I said, man, I had so many Kobe videos, and he was such a beast with it, man. He was just, bro was amazing. I love Kobe, man. Can't nobody tell me shit about bro. Let's see if we can get into some footwork. Let me do this. I'm gonna add a screen. Then I'm gonna add this. Y'all stay with me. We just gonna watch some footwork, man. World peace for everyone. Bring myself up on the screen. screen that. Change that. Slide me over here. Exit out of that. Y'all let me know if y'all can see this. I just popped it in there. I was going to share the screen, but anytime I share my screen, for whatever reason, something throws the audio off and can't really see it. Drop a 1 if y'all can see this on the screen now that we're up. I'll give it a couple of seconds. Somebody just drop a 1, and then I'll go ahead and play it. At the top it says, I still ain't seen no one who has this repertoire in their bag. Okay, Quiet Storm says y'all can see it. Let's go. Again, it says, still ain't seen no one with this repertoire in their bag. Me either.
World peace for everyone. Here he comes. Bryant with Buckman defending. Oh, my goodness. Are you kidding me?
Working over the years. Bryant behind the back, pulls it back. Oh, what a move.
Kobe on a spin. What a pivot. Yeah! Clock again goes down to deep single digits at 2. Kobe.
Come on. That is way too good. I mean, you can't guard that.
Martin, former college basketball player there at Cincinnati. What a move by Kobe Bryant.
Point. Battier watching Kobe. Scooping, driving, and putting it in.
And double. Kobe. Hard to believe.
Are you kidding me?
Kobe finding space on Kirilenko and passing to himself. Kobe on the run out. Detained by Ba-a-Moute. What a pivot. And what a pivot.
Gone in. Kobe trying to create some space. Goes baseline. Gets a couple of defenders in the air. And makes a
chance. Coming out.
Highlight after highlight after highlight. The footwork is nasty. Left hand consistent. What do y'all want from this man? What is it going to take for him to be in this conversation where people are intentionally leaving him out of the conversation between Mike and Bron? Man, come on. Again, I know Bron went to 10 finals in like damn near in a row, all that shit, but I've never seen so many grown men argue how many times somebody lost. He got there, and like somebody said, I seen another video, and I got to steal this brother's words. We never sit around as guys and talk about how many times you went over the chick house and didn't smash. What are we talking about? Man, you went over there 10 times and you ain't hit? Good job, brother. That's not the conversation. So he done went as many times as he's gone. I'm not sneezing at it. You can argue that's the GOAT. That's fine. You can argue with Mike 6 for 6. I'm arguing with Kobe and his adjustments and respect for the game. The mental fortitude, the game is played 90% from the neck up. And then he does the physical work to be able to execute. He's not just like Xing and Oing on paper and then going out there and floundering. The brother executed. What are we talking about? Hold on, let me see. Their game says it could be possible the Lakers are the greatest franchise ever. It's very arguable, bro. Very arguable. I'll listen to other people's arguments about whoever other franchise and things like that, but the Lakers, they put in work, and that's what's pissed me off in recent years is the front office and Jeannie making some decisions that I didn't like. But that's just me, not going after guys that I would respectfully like to have them on the team. Derrick Rose. But, that's my fan wish. Jason Williams says, I'm a sneaker guy. I have the Adidas Kobe Crazy 8s in gold and purple. Rocked them after he transitioned. People wanted to buy them off of my feet. No, sir. And I got to go get some Kobe's, man. Again, as far as Jordan, I'm with the culture. I'll wear Jordans. For me, they're comfortable to walk in. But I don't play in them. The only ones I would play in are not the 14, maybe the 13s. I can't remember which ones. But it's only like 2 Jordans that I actually play in because we got to be realistic. Mike became a cultural icon to the point they're not even making Michael Jordan basketball shoes anymore. Those are just regular sneakers now. But I'm a ball out in Kobe's. Let's see. Keep going. Quiet Storm says, and the people say Manu was the best shooting guard in the league. Yeah, okay, exactly. They were arguing that when he came from overseas, that he was the best shooting guard in the world. Kobe had to give him that work. You just seen Coach K talk about he wanted to guard the best perimeter player. Who did he guard? Manu, until he got hurt. And then Kobe lost interest because that was all the preparation and work he got because he knew who the ball was going to shut that down. But when game got close, who they go to? Kobe. And I think D-Wade had a run then too. That special, that Redeem Team special on Netflix. I think Kobe was in foul trouble, Bron was in foul trouble, and D-Wade did his thing. But again, the respect that D-Wade, Bron, and everybody else gave to Kobe as the elder statesman, he came in there and did his job. He led by example, and he gave him that work. And then he did it on a global stage, not just the NBA, a global stage. And they had to coax or try to talk Kobe into coming to play with the Redeem Team. He really wasn't interested at first. But Coach K was pretty much like, if Kobe ain't coming, I'm not coaching. And it worked out. Let's go. Quiet Storm says he embarrassed LeBron on a simple layup and under, simple up and under post move. But as simple as that move is, as good as the defender as Bron is, it's still Kobe, 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 Kobe. Again, the link is in the chat if y'all want to come up. If not, I'm gonna run through these comments. We're gonna go ahead and close out, man. I appreciate y'all rocking with me on this Sunday afternoon. This was very much fun. Jason Williams says, I still hoop. I worked on one Kobe post shimmy over the right shoulder, pump fake, reverse pivot over the left shoulder fadeaway. Took forever to get right without traveling. Hey, man, just keep your pivot foot down. I got to get back to hooping, too. Matter of fact, I broke my ball out yesterday. I got to pump it up, though. I might go shoot later on when it actually does cool off, if BT's still in here, because it is scorching here today. Quiet Storm says, notice none of those highlights did Kobe travel, cough, cough, LeBron Harden. Kobe, 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 while I was looking at those highlights, Quiet Storm, I did go back and look. I was like, let me see if Kobe ever got away with the travel and stuff like that. Nope. He kept that pivot foot down. He just created space. He was great at it. Y'all make sure y'all hit that like button for me while y'all in here. Uppercut that like button. It's free. Yeah, no traveling. Sean says, let's test everyone's memory. What were the Los Angeles Lakers before they were in Los Angeles? Where were the, oh, you said what? Oh, they were the Minneapolis Lakers, auntie. They was up in Minneapolis. That's the name Lakers because they was up there with all the lakes in Minneapolis. So that's where the name came from. Salute, Quiet Storm. You know your basketball too. Wish I had something to give. Ding, ding, ding. Jason Williams says, Quiet Storm beat him to the punch. Respect. I'm glad we have some real ball heads in here. Auntie, you kind of caught me off guard. You surprised me, but respect, yes. Ron Harper was the poor man's Jordan before, his injury. Salute and shout out to that brother, though. Derek Gaines says, never had a pair of Jordans, and I never will, or LeBron. I had a pair of Ralph Simpson. Man. Oh, I love my Jordans, man. I ain't gonna cap. I like the plain ones. I like the ones and the threes. I'm very simple, so I like those just solid, maybe 1-2 color Jordans. I love the bread ones. I think I got some 14s up there. I done had those a while. I always keep them neat and nice and all that. But again, I'm not talking about cultural impact and shoes today. I'm talking about the eye test. Kobe's that dude. Kobe is the GOAT. We went through the numbers. We saw the highlights. We heard the stories. We all got a story, it seems, on here to tell. Let's see. Where was Damn. Sean says, Derek, for all the children who died in Chicago over those shoes, I vowed to never buy a pair and didn't. Respect, auntie. I can respect that as well. That's still crazy. With the Ralph Sampson. Hey, man, shout out to the Twin Towers. Shout out to Ralph Sampson and Elijah Wan. Auntie says, see, nephew, you don't know what I know. I'll surprise you, sweet. Kobe, 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 oh, man. Kobe, Kobe, Kobe. So we're going to get ready to wrap. Last word. Y'all should know what it is. Let's go.
So, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. And what can I say? Mamba out.
I appreciate y'all being in here rocking with me today. Again, this is Growth Talk Podcast. I'm your host, Kofa, Kofa, not coffee, not kufu, not Kofi, or any variation thereof. Kofa rhymes with sofa. Easy to spell, easy to say. This is Growth Talk Podcast. Growth stands for gentlemen reaching our wealth through healing. This is where we try to help men find a positive fuck it. I hope y'all enjoyed today's broadcast. I will see y'all Tuesday evening coming up at 7:30. Not sure what we're going to discuss, but got to do a little bit more research. But I'll be back on live 7:30 on Tuesday. I really appreciate all of you being in here. As always, brothers, remember, you matter. You're not crazy. Make better choices. Peace, y'all.